সুপ্রিয় দর্শক সবাইকে স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি টিভি24 আয়োজিত নিয়মিত অনুষ্ঠান টিভি অ্যানালিসিস। আমি হাবিব রহমান আছি আপনাদের সাথে। যারা সরাসরি বাসা থেকে দেখছেন, যারা ফেসবুক লাইভে দেখছেন, যারা পরবর্তীতে ইউটিউবে দেখবেন, আশা করি সবাই ভালো আছেন। আজকে টিভি অ্যানালিসিসে বেশ কয়েকটি ব্যাপার নিয়ে আলোচনা করব একে একে। একটি হচ্ছে CDPAP, অনেকে বলছেন এটি কি শেষ হয়ে যাচ্ছে কিনা, অনেকে বলছেন আসলে যেটি তারা বলতে যাচ্ছেন যে আমি কিভাবে PPL-এ যাব, সাইন আপ করব, এই ব্যাপারটিতে আলোচনা থাকবে। আরেকটি ব্যাপার PCA নিয়ে আমরা অনেক আলোচনা করেছি, বেশিরভাগই একটু নেগেটিভ, যে আমরা নিরুৎসাহিত, আমি ব্যক্তিগতভাবে নিরুৎসাহিত করার চেষ্টা করেছি অনেকে। কারণ একটি সেটি হচ্ছে যে আপনি কিন্তু আপনার হেলথ কেয়ারটি হারাতে পারেন, কিন্তু অনেকের জন্যেই দিস ইজ এ গুড অপশন, ইট কুড বি এ গুড অপশন যদি আপনি একই বাসায় না থেকে থাকেন। সেটিও আলোচনা থাকবে আজকে। রেড ফ্ল্যাগস ফর ট্যাক্স ফাইলিং দিস ইয়ার, এটি একটি বড় ব্যাপার থাকবে। দিস ইজ রিয়েল এস্টেট ইন্টারেস্ট রেট, ইজ ইট কামিং ডাউন? ইফ সো, এটি কি এখন উপযুক্ত সময় কিনা? ইজ ইট রাইট টাইম টু বাই হাউস? দিস ইজ অ্যানাদার অপশন উই উইল টক অ্যাবাউট। অনেকেই আছেন আমাদের বাংলাদেশি কমিউনিটিতে যারা বাড়ি ক্রয় করেছেন উইথ এ কমার্শিয়াল লোন. Commercial loan 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, normally this is what happens. After that you have to renew it. So how do you actually refinance and make it a conventional loan? এটি একটি বড় আলোচনা থাকবে আজকের। And the difference between conventional loan and commercial loan, এটির পার্থক্য নিয়ে আলোচনা করব। To discuss all these things, I have Michael Mutazidi, CPA, in studio once again. Thanks for making time and coming.
Of course.
I think we're going to have fun.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's just start with how this tax season is going in generally, and what are you seeing that you should be you would like to advise your clients what they should and should not be doing, and overall how things are going.
So this tax season has been, especially for my office, been incredibly busy. So basically, what we've been seeing, we haven't been seeing anybody getting delayed in refunds. So I know we spoke about that last time, but that's not something we need to worry about right now. The most important thing is not having your proper documentation. People forget things. Oh, I just got this 1099. I forgot about this W-2. This now causes us to amend the tax return, which causes delays. So look, the best thing to do is try to remember what you did last year, all 2024, what jobs I worked at, what did I do. Make sure you get all W-2s, the 1099s. Check your banks for interest. You might not realize it. Your mortgages, usually you get interest on your escrow. So look for that as well. Don't leave that out. And also any type of interest you got on those amended IRS returns, you're going to have an interest as well from the Treasury Department.
Right.
Okay? But just try to remember everything, and also remember Robinhood, stocks. Don't leave anything unturned.
What do you think about President Trump's the interest, the car? If the car is make in the U.S., you get interest break, or you can actually claim the deductible as interest rate. Did you hear that?
Do you really think that's going to happen?
You think that's going to happen?
No.
No. Okay. So there's no chance for this to happen, but it's a good pitch.
Look, it's definitely a good pitch. Look, they want everything to be made in America, right? So you got the Teslas, you got GM, right. You got Ford. That's what they're pitching at.
Right. So you know what's funny? Some people, generally, there's a sense in Republican, side of the House that people, especially the immigrant community, do not buy more American products. I think it's contrary. It's just the opposite in a lot of cases. I was in a bank the other day, and my lease is coming up soon, so I'm thinking of replacing it. So and that's a foreign car, German made.
Ferrari, right?
Not yet. Not yet. Okay, so I didn't mention the name intentionally. You understand why? So he and the guy is not white. Okay, so conventionally you would think that he would suggest, how about this or that, like a little bit, a little cheaper and better options. But he was telling me, why don't you think about Lincoln? So right away the alarm bell goes up. So I said, what do you mean? He said, if the tariff hits, the car that you have right now is going to be 30%, 35% higher than what it is today. But if you get a Lincoln or Cadillac, almost same ballpark, but much cheaper. So I was kind of surprised. I was caught off guard. I was not expecting that.
Well, I'm not so surprised, right? You think about it, all my clients, like they obviously have the high-end cars, right? They got the Cadillacs, they got the Lincolns.
Right.
It's a very popular car.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they are. They're good cars too, with lots of technology built in.
They are.
Yeah.
They are. But I'm saying to you is I'm not that surprised. But also realize, and everyone who's watching this show also realize, if you drive in a Honda, Toyota, and they hit the tariffs, the parts that go inside those cars that need to be replaced, that's going up by 35%.
Yeah.
So that's where people are going to feel the pain.
So Japanese, any non-US made cars that
Correct.
were known for a cheaper price, no, not so much.
Not even cheaper price. Like,
They're not
you
cheaper
got the
price, to be honest
Toyotas,
with
you got the Hondas, you got the Kias,
Right.
the world, right? They're going to go up, right?
Okay.
BMW going to go up.
I think this is an important. A lot of people in our community, they are Uber, Lyft, Yellow. How does that impact? Favors them, or
I think it's going to end up hurting
it's going to end up hurting people
Yes.
who are in this business.
Right.
How so?
Because anybody who's driving a foreign car, right? It's gonna hurt, right? But look, with the medallions, most people driving those Ford Transits, which they're not happy with to begin with, right? But that will be actually a cheaper price.
Yeah. So I mean, we don't know for sure, but next year is going to be a different game.
It is. Anyone who bought the Toyota, like the BZ4s and stuff like that, when they need parts, they're going to be very expensive.
It's going to be very expensive.
Yeah, that's a Toyota EV.
Okay. 𝗖𝗁 𝗧𝗕𝗡𝗏 said, "Dear Habib Bhai, is your suit from Go and Gift?" No. No. Go and Gift has women's and men's clothes, but mostly Indian lineup, Indian Pakistani lineup, not yet for men, such handsome men like Mike.
Well, thank
but
you, man.
I'm hoping, we are hoping. Okay, so let's get back into this. CDPAP.
Right.
Big sticking point. We are getting, I'm sure you're getting.
I'm getting more questions more about PPL and CDPAP than I'm getting about tax refunds.
Right. So, and you are a CPA.
Exactly.
You are not a home
Look,
care.
everybody's very nervous, and there's so much bad information
Right.
out there, right? So let's just try to make it simple and easy. I know we tried last couple shows as well. If you go to PPL, right, you're still going to get the home care deduction. Nothing's going to change. Basically, your life is exactly as it is, right? Everyone's trying. All the home care agencies are trying to push you toward PCA.
Yeah.
Why? So they can make more money.
Okay, we'll talk about
That's
PCA. PCA section is a separate section. We'll touch that. So the question, a lot of people say, is it ending?
No.
Number one. Number two, when I'm going to PPL, it's going to be a very difficult thing to do.
That's what the home care agents are trying to scare everyone about, saying, "Oh, they're gonna track you," right? They don't know. Nobody knows. Okay? Do I think they're gonna track you? No. Do I think it's gonna be this crazy scrutiny? Probably not. But remember, look where the information's originating from, right? It's originating from the people who don't want you going to PPL.
Right. Can I translate that? I think this is a very important part you just mentioned. So what Michael Mutazidi said is like আপনাদেরকে বুঝতে হবে যে PPL এর যে ভয়টি আসছে এই ভয়টি আসলে কোথা থেকে আসছে ভয়টি আসছে যে হোম কেয়ারে আপনি ছিলেন সেই সমস্ত এজেন্সির কাছ থেকে যে আপনার আওয়ার কমে যাবে they're going to reduce your hour or আপনার ট্র্যাক করবে আপনি কোথায় আছেন your time sheet and all these things they are saying মনে রাখবেন PPL is nothing but a central management. Nothing else.
Nothing else.
Nothing else. Now, we mentioned a few times that how you can have CDPAP and take advantage of it, which is tax exclusion.
Correct.
When you mentioned many times that when you live in the same house. But if you don't live in the same house, you're doing CDPAP, you don't get the exclusion.
You don't anyway.
You don't. So let's talk about PCA.
Okay.
And who is it, ideally for? They should not be worried about. Should not be worried about losing, paying taxes because it's a good thing paying taxes. Also, should not be worried about, oh my God, I'm going to lose my Medicaid. Those kind of things. Let's explain.
Well, look. PCA is just a job. There's nothing else to it.
Right.
It's just a new job. It's just like working anywhere, right? Is it going to impact your health insurance? Of course, you go to over too many hours. Of course it will.
Yeah.
I've heard some really bad rumors like, oh no, you'll still get the deduction. That's not true.
You will not
It
get
can't
the
be
deduction. You cannot. It's a okay. So let's explain this. আপনারা যারা দেখছেন অনুষ্ঠানটি, PCA it's a regular job. একেবারে একটা regular job. আপনি যখন regular job করেন, you are on a W2, you pay taxes, proper taxes, and then you are all set. There is no funky here. আপনি যদি আপনার হোম কেয়ার থাকে, আপনি যদি কাউকে সেবা দিয়ে থাকেন যে অন্য বাসায় থাকে, আপনি you can take PCA. Now, আপনি হোম কেয়ার এক্সক্লুশন পাবেন না. You will not get the home care exclusion because you are actually a proper job. This is a proper job. This is a proper W2 work, and they will take out the taxes, withhold the taxes, basically.
That's correct.
Properly. Now, you can offset this if you have somebody in your house who's doing Uber or 1099. How can you explain that to me so that your local
can't exactly
income comes
offset.
down?
You can't offset it.
Right.
What you could do is if someone has a say Uber or Lyft and they work a little bit, right? Then and they still have their TLC plates, they have the TLC insurance.
Right.
Yeah, you're showing a little bit of a loss. But realize this, okay? You're actually really losing money in real life. Yeah, it's okay, maybe I can use it to qualify for Medicaid. But that's real money coming in your pocket for no reason.
Right.
Imagine paying $4,500 for TLC insurance that you were not going to use.
Correct.
I mean, it's crazy.
No, some people are doing this, right?
Right. But that's the only way to offset.
But if you have legitimate somebody in your house who's doing this Uber job and you are doing PCA,
You can't offset it.
You cannot offset it.
You're not offsetting. You're only the PC. Whatever you make on that W2 is your starting point.
Right.
Right. So say that's 40,000.
Let's say.
Right. And let's just say, for argument's sake, the Medicaid stops at 43.
Right.
You're going to tell me this on Uber and Lyft, you're only going to net 3,000? No, you know that's not true.
Yeah. So at least it's going to be 10,000.
Exactly. And then you got a problem.
Okay. But on the flip side, you can still buy insurance from the what is Obamacare, the marketplace. Thank you.
Yeah, of course you can still do it.
And in that case, it's not going to be that expensive.
But imagine everybody who doesn't pay for insurance today.
At all.
At all. Right. Anyone who's on Medicaid. Imagine now, oh my God, I have to pay for the doctor. I got to pay. They're not making so much more money. They can afford this.
Yes.
It's just not worth doing.
It's not worth doing it.
If you're on Medicaid today, it's just not worth it.
Who's listening?
It's not worth doing it.
I know. I agree with you. It's not worth it. But it seems that it is worth it because they're taking all those steps to make sure that they qualify for the Medicaid.
Correct. But when you have a W-2, there's not like I can go and try to write something. I can't lower that W-2.
Okay. So we're going to take some calls because we have some more discussion points, especially conventional and the property taxes and all those things. We have some calls and we have some questions from here. Bimal Tafadar, আপনার প্রশ্নটি নিয়ে রাখছি আমি। কে আছেন ফোনে আমাদের সাথে?
হ্যালো, আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
হ্যাঁ, ওয়ালাইকুম সালাম, বলুন।
আমার কোশ্চেনটা হচ্ছে, এখন তো হোম কেয়ারে অনেক চেঞ্জ আসতেছে, তো পিপিএল এর আন্ডারে কোন কোন হোম কেয়ার গুলি আছে, আমাকে কি নাম দেওয়া যাবে কয়েকটা?
PPL আন্ডারে কোন কোন এই মুহূর্তে আমার কাছে her question is there are many home cares, they qualify, they're going under PPL as under one umbrella, and there are some that are not qualified. Do you have a list? I don't actually have a list at this moment readily available.
But you should be able to get that on the website. You should be able to get that.
The PPL website. Okay, so আপনার প্রশ্নের উত্তরটি হচ্ছে, আপনি যখন PPL ওয়েবসাইটে যাবেন, তাদের কাছে একটা লিস্ট আছে। You know what? That's true. I have that list. আমাদের নেক্সট প্রোগ্রামে আমি এটা নিয়ে রাখবো। কিন্তু আপনি যদি PPL সাইটটাতে যান, তখন তাদের ওখানে দেয়া আছে লিস্ট অফ এজেন্সিজ দ্যাট আর লিস্টেড, যেটা PPL এর আন্ডারে আছে। Okay, another question. Bimal Tafadar, he said, can one person work for father and the mother together if both of them combined get 60 hours CDPAP?
CDPAP, yeah, they were able to do that.
You can.
You can.
Yes. So Bimal, আপনি জেনে রাখবেন যে yes, আপনি পারবেন। আপনি যখন এটা করবেন, ইউ ক্যান। আপনি একই বাসায় আছেন, আপনার বাবা মার দুটোই একসাথে করছেন। আপনি উল্লেখ করেননি যে এটি CDPAP কিনা, ইউ ডিড নট মেনশন, বাট আমি assuming that it is CDPAP. Okay, so that's that, and there's no harm doing so.
No, not at all.
Not at all.
I have many clients that do this.
Yeah, even if they don't live with you, you just pay the taxes, you don't get the exclusion, and if they live with you...
Yeah, but most of the clients that are do the 60 hours, okay, or 70 hours, I think, some of them, they're excluded.
They're excluded, okay.
Yeah, they live with their parents, yeah.
Okay, so one last question on PCA. Who are the good candidates that should actually do PCA instead of CDPAP?
So I have only a few clients that, one of the spouse said, oh, I want to start working, so
Right.
I'm taking care of my neighbor or whatever. And those people right now are under the CDPAP program, right? But they're not getting the exclusion. So those are the people that should take advantage of the PCA. I don't know, maybe I'm saying that, but PCA, right? Because they're going to get a little more money, right? Proper taxes, as you mentioned, they'll come
Correct.
out, right?
Right.
Real W-2s, right? But again, as I stressed before, is you guys have to watch because now you're on a W-2, and if you're currently on Medicaid, you got to watch that income.
Yeah.
Be careful.
So that's the only silver lining, I would say,
Correct.
right? So if you were to
I would
summarize,
tell you 98% of people should stay on PPL.
PPL, 98%.
Maybe 98, maybe even 99%.
Yeah. So this is not coming from me. এটা আমি বলছি না. A certified public accountant, CPA, who's been doing it for a long time, he is saying that try to be on PPL as much possible. 98% time that's going to be beneficial to you, especially if the Medicaid is in concern, right?
That's correct.
Okay. So one last question on Shahinur Rahman. আপনি বলছেন maybe not. So I'm not sure if you could clarify. আমি প্রশ্নটি নেব. If you were to summarize the pros and cons of PCI.
Oh, PCA, the pros are, hey, I'm going to make a little bit more money,
Yeah.
right? What's the cons? I'll never be able to write it off.
Okay, one question, it's 𝗖𝗍𝗁𝗏, a little bit off topic, but I think we just talked before getting into the studio. So it's about cars and insurance. Remember we were talking about it? Okay, he said, Habib bhai, please say something for car insurance because he's from Michigan. আপনি মিশিগান থেকে দেখছেন, ধন্যবাদ অনেক. Michigan is high car insurance. It's very expensive. Why so? What can be done?
Look, I realize why it's expensive.
Insurance,
right?
by the way, insurance went
It's gone up across the board.
across the board in last, I think, year.
Yeah, listen to me. Just looking at my clients this year from last year, right? I mean, the TLC insurance alone starts at $44,000 basically.
4,500. 4,500.
4,500, right? And I mean, I've seen stuff that's up to 7,000. It's
Yeah. So
crazy what's going on.
I'm going to say this in Bangla. যারা দেখছেন ইন্স্যুরেন্স কিন্তু গত এক বছরে একেবারে হুড়হুড় করে বেড়ে যাচ্ছে। কোনো বলা কওয়া নেই, ইন্স্যুরেন্স কোম্পানি হ্যাজ ফুল কন্ট্রোল অ্যান্ড আমি আপনাদেরকে বলবো প্লিজ মেক শিওর আপনারা যখন ইন্স্যুরেন্স করবেন শপ অ্যারাউন্ড আ লিটল বিট, বাট আপনি শপ অ্যারাউন্ড করলে খুব একটা বেনিফিটেড হবে না। আপনার বাসায় আপনি যদি ফর এক্সাম্পল আপনার বাসায় কেউ যদি ইফ সামবডি ইজ ড্রাইভিং উবার ইন ইউর হাউস and you bought a Tesla for whatever reason, right? আপনার insurance কিন্তু normally it's $400 to $500 ballpark, depends on your driving experience and incidents and all these things, but $400 to $500. But if you have somebody living in your house who does Tesla in the same household, same address, your home address, and that person's could be husband, wife, could be anything, your Tesla insurance could be somewhere between $1,200 to $1,600 a month. Can you believe
we
this?
could also go back to the tariffs, right? So next year insurance is going to go up even more if you have a foreign car. Because repairing that's even more expensive.
So it's going to be, the insurance is going to be even higher next year, which is not a good news.
Correct.
Not a good news at all. Is there any way people can offset it when they're filing taxes?
Well, I mean, for Uber and Lyft and all my drivers, yeah, of course.
They can.
We're writing the whole thing off.
Okay.
It's
So,
a pure expense.
all right. So, যারা Uber and Lyft করছেন তাদের ক্ষেত্রে yes, insurance is very high. আপনারা পকেট থেকে পে করছেন. It's very high yearly. But মাইকেল মোতাজিদি যেটি বলছেন, আপনি এটি রাইট অফ করতে পারেন। You can write off. So yes, পকেট থেকে আসতেছে, it's coming out of your pocket, but it's going to go back into your adjustment.
Correct. Remember, so whatever you're writing off, you're not getting dollar for dollar, right? If I'm writing off $4,400, maybe I'm saving myself, say, $1,000
Right.
or something like
Right.
that.
Right.
Right.
When you were filing taxes this year for people who are doing 1099 especially, especially if he's doing Uber or Lyft, are there any special advice do you have for them? I know it's off topic, but I just had to bring it up.
No, special advice is really simple. Don't forget about all your expenses, right? Don't forget about the SBA loans I pointed out, okay? You can write off that interest, right? You can write off your car payment interest.
Right.
Car payment, but car payment interest, okay? Just realize that. Those are two huge deductions that people forget about. And the people from, say, Michigan or out of New York and New Jersey,
Florida,
right?
Somebody's watching.
The most important thing is to write off the miles, because you guys are driving a lot more than we do in New York.
Absolutely, because per miles over here and
most of the Michigan returns I do, we just write off the miles.
You take off the mileage.
The miles
make
is worth more than the actual expenses.
Yeah. So the CPAs who are doing, like you, the fine ones, that makes you happy.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. know what they're doing.
Correct.
And therefore, they can actually write off those.
You're going to a CPA to get them to maximize your deductions, right? To think outside the box and say, hey, how can I get this guy the most refund? That's what you're going to CPA for.
That's correct. And that's why, exactly.
It's that simple.
That's the point. 𝗗𝗶𝗁𝗏𝗂𝗏 G2, he's saying, how much is interest rate on Miami or Florida? You did not mention if it's a car insurance or house insurance, but I don't have right off the bat because there are quite a few variables. It depends on. But he didn't mention. I'm assuming it's car insurance, right? It's Miami and Florida.
Right, but interest rate, right?
Interest rate. I'm sorry. I would say housing.
Sorry.
I'll say, yeah.
No, listen to me. It's just based on, you just got to look at what your car loan is. They'll tell you how much interest you paid in the prior year.
Right.
And that's the number you give to the CPA.
Right. Also, house interest you're talking about right now, this is the topic we're going to talk about. His question was, yes, thank you for clarifying, G2. He said, how's the interest rate looking for Miami and Florida? But we're going to talk about national average, generally speaking, and then I will pitch in something about Florida and why is it so high at this point, especially if you are South Florida. There are reasons for that. Amra, we'll talk about this. Let's talk about real estate interest rate. Is it coming down?
It has come down in the last, say, couple weeks.
Okay, so it's coming down. It has come down.
I'm not saying it's not going to 4%, everybody. I'm not saying that.
I don't think we're going to ever see in the next 5 years 4%.
I definitely think. We'll definitely see 4%. Without a doubt. What do you see?
I really pray.
Do you see the unemployment there?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to...
Yeah, you're going to offset it by lowering the interest rate.
But I'm saying to you, they're going to have to, if the economy can't hold on, right?
Right.
How are you going to think they're going to restart the economy? They're going to have to lower the interest rate.
By making it cheaper to borrow.
Correct.
Which is lowering the interest rate.
There you go.
Okay. Now,
so it's very possible, but going back to what your question was, what does it look like the last, say, 2 or 3 weeks? I would tell you it is down. It is definitely down.
Okay. Florida, especially the home insurance, especially, is very high. After there, you remember there were 2 storms and some fire thing going on in Florida, especially. I'm not talking about California. I'm not talking about North Carolina. I'm talking about Florida. These disasters actually caused the house insurance to go up. In some parts of the Florida and California, insurance companies are refusing to insure your house. The problem is, if that happens, you will not be able to close your house or get the mortgage.
Right,
it's a requirement.
Correct, but you could also get it from the state of Florida.
State of Florida. So I didn't know that. That's a good news, and that's where you bring in the values, I guess. Okay, there's one last question. I want to stay on the real estate topic. So you said the interest rate has come down.
It is definitely come down.
And the most likely interest rate will come down even, not sooner, but even lower, 2025 or 2026?
No, I'm hoping we're going to see something at the end of this year.
Around 6.
We're kind of back to where we were. We're
yeah.
6 1/4.
6 1/4. 6 1/4.
Sitting there, but I'm saying you're looking in the 5s.
Okay. I'm going to stay on this one for a while, but there's one question I want to give. Is Tania Rahman. She's saying that agency said you cannot work for 2 people, and I'm assuming that the same house, and you can't work more than 40 hours.
I have plenty of clients that already do that. So. Same person.
Same person.
Same person that works for 2.
So let's say she's the daughter, and she has her mom and dad.
Yeah.
She can.
Of course.
So I would say...
I've seen it.
Okay. So that means, Tania Rahman, your agency is giving you wrong information.
Yeah.
Change your agency. Okay? And go for a PPL. আপনি একজন ভালো কারোর সাথে বসুন যিনি আপনাকে পরামর্শ দিতে পারবে আপনার যে এজেন্সি আছে নাম উল্লেখ করার দরকার নেই don't mention name but Michael Motazid is saying he is doing taxes for many people who has 2 in the same house and more than 40 hours in some cases 60-70 hours.
Yeah.
He's sitting here, please.
Right. I mean, maybe, but as I said on the show, right?
Yeah.
So basically, maybe that home care agency doesn't want to do that, or a lot of people you see are split between two
Right.
home care agencies.
Yeah.
So it's something you have to investigate.
And I think that's the key because Shahidur Rahman, Shahidur Rahman, আপনাকে অসংখ্য অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ. You are paying attention to the discussion in detail. He's saying not with the same company which you just mentioned.
Yes.
ওকে সো তানিয়া রহমান আমি দুঃখিত আপনার কোম্পানি হয়তো আপনাকে সঠিকই বলেছেন আমি ভুল বলেছি আপনি যখন দুটি কোম্পানির হয়ে করবেন ধরেন এবিসি কোম্পানি এক্সওয়াইজি কোম্পানি two people in your house আপনার বাসায় that's okay Shahinur Rahman again thank you Jitu said thank you আপনাকে you're welcome okay let's go back to real estate and interest rate and housing market people who bought house they're up for renewal or they are thinking of refinancing is it a good time?
Look, right now, I'm talking about people who got really, I call hosed.
Yeah.
Right, by whoever they went to get the original.
Yeah, so they went to the
12,
guy in the corner of the
13s,
street.
right, exactly. So terrible stuff going
Right.
on, right? Those are the people that are going to benefit to have the 8s, the 9s, the 10s.
Okay.
And higher.
Okay, so I'm going to translate this. This requires really it deserves to be. So, মাইকেল মোতাজিদি যেটি বলছেন আপনি যদি কারো কাছে যেয়ে থাকেন যিনি কোনো একটি শপ খুলে বসেছেন রিয়েলি ইজ নট এ সিপিএ অর রিয়েলি ডু নট নো হোয়াট দে আর ডুইং হয়তো আপনার ইন্টারেস্ট রেট হয়েছে বিভিন্ন কারণ হতে পারে অনেক কারণ আছে হয়তো ইউ হ্যাড নো ইনকাম এরকম হতে পারে ইভেন দো ইউ পুট 20% সো আপনি 8% 9% 11% in some cases I heard that you took a loan আপনি বাড়ি ক্রয় করেছেন so আমার কোশ্চেন ছিল my question was to Mutazidi is this is a good time for them to refinance his answer was yes now I'm going to ask him to elaborate on this please
This is very, very simple, right? You're going to save hundreds of dollars a month in payments just by refinancing. Why? Because you're lowering the interest rate
Yeah.
from just say a 9 to a 6.
okay somebody else brought in a good point and she said please tell Michael mention that interest rate also depends on quite a few things I think somebody's paying good attention such as personal credit score your income and many other factors can you please expand on that
Yeah, look, obviously it's going to matter on credit. We all know that, right? I mean, your credit had to be a certain way to even get those loans to begin with.
right
It couldn't been.
what would be the ballpark a cutoff
The
number
cutoff is 620.
620 at least
Yeah.
okay and
Most people have 620, right?
Yeah.
So that's not that big of an impact, right?
right
Right. Then it's also income, right? So you need to sit with your person who does your taxes and knows what they're doing. You also need to work with the person who's doing the loan to make sure the income qualifies, right? So it's really like a three-pronged approach, right?
right
Right?
1 2 3
Exactly.
So if can I bring in an example?
Give it a-
Let's say somebody bought a house at 9%. It's a commercial loan, and the house was let's say 500,000, and he put 50% down. Let's say it's 250,000. So the loan amount right now is left over is 250,000. If this person wants to refinance, what would be your criteria to tell him? And he, if needed be, he's willing to give another 20% down. What would be your advice? I know there are many missing points here. However, I know
Look,
you're
you're
laughing.
going to put another 20% down. You might as well buy the whole thing out in cash.
Well, then let's say he doesn't. Let's say he doesn't have that much cash.
But it's not even that. When you do a refinance, you're not taking money out of your pocket again. That's not how refinances work. You're literally taking that extra closing costs and adding to the back of the loan,
Right.
And they're stretching the loan back out to a 30-year,
Right.
right? So for everybody's purpose of this, it's really to lower my payment. That's what I'm trying to accomplish. I'm trying to lower my payment by a couple $100 a month.
Okay. So basically, can he refinance? Yes. Right. The answer is yes, based on certain criteria.
Right. What all I'm saying to you is don't
Can
just
you lower
run.
the payment altogether?
Yes.
Maybe, but not drastically.
Yes, a couple $100 a month
Right.
is a lot.
What would happen is, and that's where we're going to go there a little later, your business loan becomes a conventional loan, and it becomes from a variable rate to a fixed rate. Is that correct? Which benefits you in the long run.
Of course, because look, if I'm telling you a couple $100 a month, say $300 a month, right? Times 300 times 360. Could you imagine the money they're saving?
Right. Tanya, another question is like, I'm an Uber driver. Can I take care of my father in CDPAP? Simple answer.
Take care of him, what do you want?
Yes. So yeah, Michael could be your father. He could take care of him. All joking aside, yes, the answer is yes. There is no hard and fast rule that you can't. Okay.
You can have multiple different jobs and also do home care.
Home care.
It doesn't have to be Uber. It could be another W-2 job as well.
Right. So let's take a call.
Sure.
All right. কে আছেন আমাদের সাথে ফোনে? হ্যাঁ, বলুন।
হ্যালো, আসসালামু
হ্যাঁ, ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম, শুনছি, বলুন।
জি, নতুন যে পিপিএল যেটা আসছে আর কি, আমরা বর্তমানে করতেছি একটা হোম কেয়ার অ্যাডজাস্টেড মাধ্যমে। তো পিপিএল এ গেলে কি আমাদের আওয়ার টাওয়ার সবকিছু সেফ থাকবে?
গুড কোয়েশ্চেন। আমরা কিছুক্ষণ আগে এটি নিয়ে আলোচনা করছিলাম। আপনি কিন্তু থাকবেন আমাদের সাথে। The question he's about to get into PPL.
Right.
So he's worried because based on what he hears, the hours will be reduced or the payments,
Yes.
You answered it, but please again.
I'll answer one more time. Right. The people who are telling you about all this stuff are the people who don't want you going to PPL. Why? They're going to lose money, right? That's all it comes down to. Even New York State put a whole, I even know one of my clients, he showed me, New York State put a whole thing out about PPL, what are the false rumors and
Right.
what's the truth.
Yeah, so when they had to, I had a program where I had to actually go out to the commissioner of the PPL, and he said there's many rumors. Let me clear out a few, and he had a written, actually video.
Oh no, but New York State now has a whole thing. It says,
Right.
This is real, this is fake, this is a...
I think we should include that next in our next
I
show.
have it.
You have it?
I have it.
We'll
Take it
have
from my
it
client.
on-screen slide so
Okay.
people can actually share it, and all the fears will actually go down.
I hope.
I hope, because so আপনার সিম্পল অ্যান্সার টু ইউ, আপনি যে প্রশ্ন করেছিলেন যে ইয়েস, আপনি পিপিএল নিয়ে যে দুশ্চিন্তা করছেন, এত দুশ্চিন্তার কিছু নেই। আওয়ার এই মুহূর্তে কোনো কিছুই কমছে না, সেরকম কোনো বার্তা আমরা পাইনি। আপনার যে আওয়ারলি রেট আছে ইজ গোয়িং ডাউন, না, এটাও কমার সম্ভাবনা এখন নেই। কারণ এরকম যখন হয় তখন দে পুট আ প্রেস রিলিজ, তারা প্রেস রিলিজ করেন এবং সেটি আপনারা পেয়ে থাকেন। ওরকম সেরকম কোনো কিছু এখন পর্যন্ত আমাদের হাতে আসেনি। ওকে, নাও আশা করি আপনি শুনতে পেয়েছেন আমার কথা। আপনার প্রশ্নের উত্তর কি পেয়েছেন আপনি?
জি
জি। তো
আচ্ছা, আর একটা প্রশ্ন ছিল, বর্তমানে যেরকম ক্লক আউট করতেছি ফোনের মাধ্যমে, এইরকম না সিস্টেম ডিফারেন্ট হবে?
হ্যাঁ, ভালো প্রশ্ন করেছেন। হি ইজ ওয়ারিড অ্যাবাউট ইজ গোনা চেঞ্জ দ্য ওয়ে হি ইজ ডুইং ক্লক ইন ক্লক আউট রাইট নাও।
That's another rumor. So again, look, most of the stuff is rumors. Nobody knows anything because hasn't happened yet.
হ্যাঁ, আশা করি আপনি শুনেছেন। এটিও একটি গুজব, এটির কোনো সত্যতা এই মুহূর্তে এখন পর্যন্ত আমরা পাইনি। কাজে আপনি যেভাবে করছেন এটা সেভাবেই বলবৎ থাকবে। যদি সেরকম কিছু আসে, আমি আপনাদেরকে বলতে পারি, ইউ উইল হিয়ার দিস ফ্রম টিভি অ্যান্ড ইউ উইল হিয়ার ফ্রম মাইক। আমরা এটি ডিসকাস করবো। কাজে এখন পর্যন্ত আপনি যে কটা কথা বলেছেন সবই গুজব। All these things are rumors. আপনার ভয় পাওয়ার কিছু নেই। আমি জানি এরকম ভীতি ছড়ানো হচ্ছে। I know Michael knows. We hear these things that people are spreading these rumors. কাজে আপনার চিন্তার কিছু নেই এখন পর্যন্ত। So you're good. Now, going back to the real estate again, my favorite topic for tonight. Real estate price. Many saying they are climbing higher, but not as fast as they were before. How do you see the housing market playing out in next couple of months? Let's say 6 months out from here.
You know what? Exactly what you've been hearing.
Yeah.
It's very similar, right? It's not going like this. It's going like almost flatlining.
Okay.
Right? But again, this is all going to be dictated on unemployment numbers. Obviously, if unemployment goes up, that's not going to go this way. It's going to start caving.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But obviously, if interest rates go down,
The price fluctuates.
They work
Okay.
opposite, right? Unemployment goes up, it's going to be hard for someone to buy a house, right? So the prices would have to go down. If interest rates go down, prices will go back up.
Okay. So that brings me to the other question. Is it a good time to buy a house?
If you have a stable job, you work for the, say, city of New York, or you do home care, or do stuff like that, right? I would tell you, buy a house whenever you guys are ready and you feel that you want to.
So, in other words, you're saying if you're ready to buy a house
and you have a stable job,
you have a stable job, meaning you can afford it, you should buy it.
Right.
There's no good time.
Look, I don't want someone to buy a house and then say, "Oh my God, I can't afford the payments." That's not what I want.
That's a nightmare scenario.
Of course, but nobody thinks down the line. I do with that. I don't want that. I couldn't sleep at night doing that, right?
Right.
So again, if you have a job, because we don't know how the economy is going to go next 12 months.
That's true.
We don't. So again, as I was saying, if you work for the city of New York, you work for MTA, and you got this stable job.
Right. City estates.
Honestly, if you're ready, you know you can make those payments, go right ahead.
Now, the one other question is like, people usually make mistakes when getting a real estate for the first time, like first-time home buyers. They forget the difference between need and want.
Correct.
If you could just give us a few points so that people understand that when you are buying a house, need becomes want, and want leads you to the danger territory.
Correct. You have this price range in your head. You're like, okay, we can afford this payment. If we find this house, they love it. They can't.
Yeah, you're drooling.
Right. They have to have it. Well, that need just became a want.
Right.
I must do it. It doesn't matter what it costs.
Yeah. So you're going outside of
You're going outside your
practicality.
box.
Yeah.
You're putting your whole financial future in a little bit of, I don't want to say jeopardy, but a little bit of
You're putting yourself in a tight line.
Of course. That's why I keep saying, like, if you have a stable job, like, go for it, right? Because it's not going to change, right? You're going to
Right.
only make more money, right? But the people who have those jobs that go with this and this and this, those are the people I worry about because I don't know what this economy is
Yeah.
going to look like in the next 12 months.
So আপনার একটি বাসা দরকার, আপনি কিন্তু জানেন আপনার চাহিদাটা কি। ইউ হ্যাভ টু হ্যাভ, লেটস সে আপনার 2টি বাচ্চা আছে বা 3টি বাচ্চা আছে, ইউ হ্যাভ টু হ্যাভ এ হাউস যেখানে ইউ আর কমফোর্টেবল, রাইট? মেবি আপনি একটি পোর্শন রেন্ট আউটও করতে পারেন, ওকে? বাট আপনি পরবর্তী আরেকটি বাসা দেখলেন দ্যাট হ্যাজ এ সুইমিং পুল, 4-car garage, right? A backyard, and the price difference could be $300,000 between them. একটি ছিল 5 লাখ, আরেকটি আছে 8 লাখ, ধরে নিন, আমি জাস্ট এক্সাম্পল হিসেবে ব্যবহার করছি। নাও অল অন এ সাডেন আপনি যে বাসাটি দেখছিলেন যেটা আপনার আয়ত্তর মধ্যে ছিল, ইউ কুড অ্যাফোর্ড ইট, you don't want it anymore. You want that house with the swimming pool, you want that backyard, the green backyard, you want the what else can we put in there, 4-car garage, I said, right? Now আপনি আপনার সাধ্যের বাইরে চলে যাচ্ছেন, এবং তখনই প্রথমত এটা বোঝা যায় না, বাট অ্যাজ ইউ ক্লোজ আউট দ্য হাউস, first month goes, second month goes, the third month goes, maybe second, third months, the reality hits you that, oh my God, I made a serious mistake. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly what I'm saying. I'm not talking about swimming pools and stuff like that, but I'm saying, okay, I like this house because this place is renovated,
Right.
this is not.
Correct.
It's got a bigger backyard. Look, a lot of my clients are fortunate because they always come in and say, oh, what do you think about this house?
Yes.
And I always give my honest opinion with it, if I
Yeah.
like it or I don't like it, right? But I want everyone to be realistic. That's all I'm asking, realistic.
Be
I know
realistic.
when you guys go on Zillow, things look amazing, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I want this, I want
Phenomenal.
this, I want this. I had a client with, oh, just make an offer. We don't need to see it. Just make an offer. I'm like, no. You're going to take a look at this house.
In other words, you're saying, oh, that house and that, yeah, I like that house too. It's a nice deal. The question is it for you?
Correct.
Can you deal with it?
And remember, just like taxes, not everybody doesn't have the same situation,
Correct.
right? The houses, you like this kitchen, this person doesn't, right? Just, I want everyone to be realistic, right? Can you stretch a little bit out of your comfort zone? Sure.
Yeah. Last topic for this discussion. What are the biggest difference? I know there are many, but conventional loan and a commercial loan.
Look, a commercial loan is, hey, I'm an investor. I'm not going to live there. If they catch you living there, you just committed fraud for housing, okay? Got to understand that. And look, yes, a lot of people did this in the last couple of years. But look, going forward, they're starting to check this stuff. And you don't want to be caught in that stuff.
So when you buy a house with a commercial loan, you cannot live there.
You
Simple
can't live
as
there.
it is.
It's a non-owner occupied. I'm buying it, saying I'm going to rent it. When you close, when you're closing, right? You're signing off saying I am not going to live there. I am going to rent it.
Okay, so another question came, Rashida Sultana, she said, by March 28, do we have to change our home care agency?
You don't have to change your home care agency, you have to sign for PPL.
Yeah, আপনাকে চেঞ্জ করতে হবে না, আপনাকে বাই দেন, বা মার্চের 28 তারিখ, উই আর অন 7th, আপনার 20 দিনের মতো সময় আছে, 20 days, আপনাকে সাইন ইন করে নিতে হবে PPL এ। It's not difficult, and they walk you through the website. I'll try to do, আমি একটি ইন্টারঅ্যাক্টিভ করব খুব তাড়াতাড়ি, এবং it's not difficult. আমি দু একজনের সাথে কথা বলেছি, তারা করেছেন, ঝামেলা মুক্ত, not a big deal. So the conventional loan, one of the drawback, you cannot live there. I'm sorry, the commercial loan.
Correct. It's for business.
And what do you? We are almost towards the end. What do you suggest people when they go and they don't have real income, but they have the cash to put down 30%, 40%, and there are people giving advice. Oh, you can do a commercial loan. Let's do it now. As a CPA, what would be your professional advice?
All right, look, this is not the time to do this kind of stuff. Right? As I just told you, it's considered like fraud for housing, right?
Right.
So I mean, that comes with criminal charges, right? So look, people that don't have the income, you don't have to do these type of business loans, right? You can do what they call no-doc loans. We've called this for years, but you're allowed to live in those, right?
NODA.
No docs.
Okay, no docs.
Owner-occupied no docs.
Do the no docs instead of doing...
No, don't do commercial loans. And here's the problem. Everyone, when you guys move in, you tell your neighbors, guess what, we just bought this property.
Yeah.
So when the bank goes to investigate, you already told your neighbors you live there.
Yeah.
So it's not worth doing. You're just better off doing a no-doc, owner-occupied loan. Keep it safe.
Right. One last question. Amit Das, he's saying, any particular interest range, you guys think that the deal for refinancing at this moment, let's say somebody bought a 6%, at 6%, is this a good time?
No, because you're going to get exactly the same rate. The only thing is you're going to pay for more closing costs, and as well as there's a law saying, hey, if you don't get a tangible benefit, you're not getting anything out of this, they won't allow it to happen anyways. So right now is not the time.
Right. So there's a question posed by this. I don't see the question. Wahid Ahmed, আমি আপনার প্রশ্নটি দেখতে পাচ্ছি না, আমি খুঁজে দেখেছি, কিন্তু চিন্তার কোনো কারণে নেক্সট এপিসোড উই উইল অ্যান্সার দিস, আমি এটা খুঁজে লিখে রাখবো। উই আর অ্যাট দ্য you have 30 seconds if you want to advise people who are filing taxes this year what they should be looking for, the pitholes or potholes or things that should be watching out for, and how to maximize their benefits.
Okay, it's real simple. As I told you before, you want to make sure you have all your stuff, Robinhood, interests, W-2s, 1099s, also any other type of write-offs. Guys, think about things you pay for, right? Especially all the Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, your car payments, your car repairs, gas, all that stuff. Don't leave anything unturned. I always work with my clients to make sure they don't leave anything unturned. So if you have additional questions, call my office.
Right. I think this is great advice because people can lose out and not maximize their benefits.
Correct.
So take your time, bring in all the paperwork.
Bring in all the paperwork, and also, guys, anybody who has LLCs that have more than one member, those are under 1065s or partnerships. Those are due March 15th as well as S Corps.
Okay.
We got 1 week to do these things, or we can put them on extension.
Why are you looking at me?
Because I'm looking.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna say goodbye to you. আপনারা যারা এতক্ষণ অনুষ্ঠানটি দেখছিলেন, আশা করি অনুষ্ঠানটি ভালো লেগেছে। যে যেখানে থাকবেন ভালো থাকবেন, সুস্থ থাকবেন, নিরাপদে থাকবেন। দেখা হবে পরবর্তী অনুষ্ঠানে। শুভরাত্রি।
TBN 24 টেলিভিশন দেখতে আজই কল করুন 7187776556। লগ ইন করুন www.totalcablebd.com।
নিউ ইয়র্ক থেকে সম্প্রচারিত TBN 24 টেলিভিশন বিশ্বজুড়ে বাঙালির কণ্ঠস্বর।